Welcome to Your Story Matters, where you can leave the bullshit at the door and be you. I'm your host, Sean Nicious. I'm here today with John Vandeburgt of the Wisconsin Badger Motor Association, as well as the Dane County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean. I really appreciate it.
No problem. How you feeling today, man?
Man, today, Saturday, we're at Harley-Davidson in Madison here today, and they got a gun show going on, so we got Harleys and guns. You can't go wrong. So I appreciate you inviting me onto the podcast and getting the Badger Motor Officers Association a little bit of PR, a little good publicity, so thank you for that.
No problem. And I just want to start this podcast out, tell me about the Wisconsin Badger Motor Association.
All right, so this started back in 2010. We've been around for 15 years now, going into our 15th year. It started basically back after the recession of 08. Obviously, law enforcement and training funds were always tough to come by, and training is always the first thing that's cut. So as motor officer, we didn't want our training cut, so a couple cops from the Madison area decided to start their own nonprofit. So that's how we became certified 501c3 nonprofit, and we basically fund our own training now. We're going into our 15th year. We just came off our largest year. I had 45 motors at our spring in service, which is we do to get people back on their motorcycles after the winter, because it's always a perishable skill, riding. We want to make sure everybody's safe while they're doing not only police work, but while riding as well. And then we have an advanced skills and training competition in August, and we had 43 there. So we are getting bigger and bigger every year, and all PR is good PR for us. So yeah, we'll take it. So
that is awesome. I've looked at a little bit up at the website, and
yep.
Especially I don't even think I could get those moves and skills and stuff like that. I would be really bad at it.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to take the course to see how it is,
For sure, yeah. There are courses out there for civilians. Lock and Lean out of Illinois does civilians. It trains them the same way we were trained. So there is options for civilians out there. But yeah, basic motor officer school is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Getting through that 80-hour course and passing was very, very a moment for me that was like, yes, because if you don't get it, man, I couldn't imagine. So,
talk to me about that training, that extensive training.
Yep.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, so it's an 80-hour course, and basically you got to progress from. We start off with just like you do with your regular riding class. You learn how to pick up the motorcycle. You learn all the elements of the motorcycle, because we are going to drop it a lot. I think I dropped mine over 100 times, and picking up a 1,000-pound motorcycle wears on you after a while. But yeah, then you go through these cone progressions for basically clutch, throttle, and brake. You want it all working together at the same time, and it's basically we train this way because we're doing short U-turns. Like if we get a speeder or something, and we're in confines of the roadway, most roadways are only about 30 feet wide, so you got to be able to turn in that and not have to back up and do Y turns and stuff. So that's why we kind of train what we do, but it's really just for motorcycle control and precision as far as operating. But on top of that, then you got law enforcement work on top of it. So we got a computer in the back. We're writing tickets. We're investigating crimes. We're going to crashes and stuff like that as well. So it can be a lot for new riders, not only to just operate a motorcycle safely on the roadway, but then you got to involve watching all the other bad drivers out there, so you can go educate them and maybe issue some enforcement action as well. So.
Oh yeah, a little funny story about me. When I was going to get my motorcycle license, 7-8 years ago, I had a Honda Rebel 250cc, and it just. So what happened was I actually dropped the bike on the test and still passed.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
My knees were touching the handlebars, so it's kind of like, after that I was like, I gotta do a little upgrade here. Yeah. I got up to a 1200 Sportster,
nice.
and nice blue little Sportster.
Yeah. So funny, I didn't really fall into motorcycling. My friend who I worked with here at the Sheriff's Department was like, hey, you want to come with me? I don't want to go take the class by myself, and I never even thought about it. Well, within a month of getting the class, I had a Honda VTX, that I was riding after that, and then a year later I was on the motor unit back in 2013 already. So I've been doing it like 12 years now, and I just took over as team leader for the unit here for the Sheriff's Department as well. So that's pretty cool. That's going to be a big challenge for me, is running my own team now. We have 5 motorcycles at the Sheriff's Department, hoping to add a 6th here in the future, so we can get a full complement for doing escorts and stuff. But yeah, I never thought I'd be a motorcycle cop in my life. I just fell into it, and then I got on the team, and it's like this is not who I am. I'm an instructor now. I'm president of the Badger Motor Officers Association, which, like I said, we are online. We do have a web page, and we're on Facebook too. The website probably needs to be updated because it's 2025 now, so there's probably some old stuff on there if you're looking at it. But we'll get that updated, and then our Facebook is mostly current. But usually the Badger Motor Officers is more of a group of camaraderie people that we're dedicated to training and safety and getting home safe at the end of the shift, and that's why we do what we do, and that's what we fundraise for. But we just don't put all of our funds towards like our training. We actually donate to any Wisconsin line of duty death that happens.
Yep, I've seen some of those show up on the page.
Yep, and then we donate to any motor officer that dies in the country. So we donate funds to their families as well, because in the end they didn't make it home safe, unfortunately, for whatever reason, and that's we want to make sure that their families are taken care of as best as possible too. So I think that's a big part of our why we fundraise as well, because it's a good reminder for us to get home at the end of the day, to our families and stuff. So, but yeah, as far as the Badger Motor Officers Association, you can't find a better group of people. Like I said, we have over probably 100-ish. People in the group, but more or less just a networking too. Like I can push out information to all the motor officers in the state and Midwest if I need to, because I have those connections through this association. If there's a funeral, been down to Illinois just this past year, late last year, for a funeral down there for the Illinois State Trooper that passed away, and we're getting in touch with them, and hopefully going out to National Police Week every year. And this year we're taking 28 motorcycles, or at least from Wisconsin, if not more. We're hoping to fill the semi. House of Harley out of Milwaukee and Hall Bikes. They donate a semi to the Badger Motor Officers Association. So
that's amazing.
To go out to National Police Week free, which you can't pass up that. Their dedication and their commitment to the association. Big thank you to them. That's awesome. We can't do this without support. I mean, nonprofits and stuff like that. It's all based on who you know and how you can get to where you need to be to accomplish your mission. So.
Oh yeah. And one of the things I want to ask is tell me a little bit about. Have you ever been to DC and doing any escorts or Talk to me about that.
National Police Week is a very unique and humbling experience. You're honestly there because law enforcement across the country died and their name is getting put on the wall from the previous year. So you're meeting their families, you're hugging widows, your little kids are there, and it's one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had. This is my 10th year going from the Dane County lets us go because it's part of our training dates. So this is my 10th year going, and this is the 5th year I'll be president of the Badger BMOA going out there. But yeah, so I organize help with transportation, getting that semi arranged, because there's certain rules we have to meet. Got to have VIN numbers and logos. But it's awesome because Hall Bikes will wrap and put our logos on the side of the semi, so you can see Wisconsin State Patrol or Madison Police badge on the side of the semi going down the road, and that's pretty awesome. So, but yeah, National Police Week. No place like it on earth, especially Washington, D.C., if you've ever been there. It's pretty cool as far as just to see. We have a hard time. I always tell my new people that are coming with, don't get distracted while you're riding, because you're in an echelon of 200 motorcycles, and most people don't. One, you need to be on top of your game, because you don't want to. If you go down, then the 100 motorcycles behind you are going to go down.
Yeah, so you got that pressure on you. So does your wrist get a little bit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do. But it's very humbling. We do the candlelight vigil. We do the Cops Kids Run out to Quantico, Virginia. We do the ceremony. And yeah, so there's and then we do the airport runs when we get there. So every survivor that flies into Reagan National Airport gets an escort to their hotel. So they'll put them on a bus, and then that bus gets 15 ceremonials, and then one working motor group from the district or from the area.
That's cool.
So they'll stop traffic and shut down. So
I
would not recommend, if you're going to there to sightsee, don't pick National Police Week, because traffic will be a mess, because they do 18 escorts a day, and and just like the president's there and other dignitaries are there. So I mean, they're shutting down roads left and right, and it's pretty cool to see. Like I said, mentioned earlier, it's part of our training dates, because I don't think you can go anywhere else and see all the different variations of escorts that they do out there, from the push style escort to the Virginia reel to whatever. There's a bunch that different, but to see that live, you can't get that experience here, because the Virginia reel takes 16 motorcycles to run or whatever. We don't have that here. I only have five on my crew, so we can't run that. But to see it live in person and how it works it's invaluable as far as training goes. And then, I said, just riding two up side by side in an echelon of 200 motorcycles, that takes practice. That takes that's training right there as well. So.
What is your guys' procedure when it comes to escorting motorcycle rides? Say, I don't know if you've ever escorted one from here yet, but take me through that process, or if you have ever done that process.
Yeah, so early, maybe 10, 15 years ago, early in my career, I'd probably say we did more under the old sheriff, and then due to safety, we got away from escorting motorcycle groups through the county, and some people were disappointed with that, but it all comes down to liability and safety. But there is a way to do it. Actually, I'm in charge of county road use permits, we call them, for the highway department, and I have to sign off on all those, so I know a little bit about this. But yeah, you can have a group just like the Ironman comes through to do their bike ride and stuff, it can be done. You just have to go through a certain series of steps, and you got to have a certificate of insurance and stuff like that. But we would do it. It depends on the group size. I know Milwaukee, they still do it. The House of Harley ride for Wisconsin cops is huge over there. My partner's been there a couple times, and it just all depends on what you're looking to, how many motors you're trying to move at one time. But if you're looking at like 70 to 100 motors, they'll have motors out front stopping traffic for you, and then they'll interspace police motorcycles in the group to keep the lights, so that we hold the intersection as we're going through. Otherwise, cars may try to jump through at the gaps and stuff, because it's really hard to keep that accordion effect.
Oh, yeah.
Try to keep everybody together. So they'll interspace law enforcement motorcycles throughout the group. If not, they'll even have static traffic posts, like, hey, there'll be a cop standing at the intersection holding it for you. So yeah, it can all be done. It just all depends on if you're moving 30 motorcycles or 150. You
never know. Like, tell me a little bit about like you coming up to the president in the Wisconsin Badger Motor Association.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been part of the association when I passed basic trainings in 2013. So then I just took over for the guy ahead of me, and he was a Dane County Sheriff, and the guy before him was a Dane County Sheriff. So we've always just had presidents from the Dane County Sheriff's Office, because we get voted in, and I don't know, but it's going my 5th year. I'll be the longest standing president so far, which is pretty cool.
Gotta own that shit.
Gotta own it, exactly. Gotta own it, right? Yeah. I was like, I even told the group with it, because I just got reelected in January. Like, you guys understand? Like, if you want to see something different, like, I'll be the longest. Like, sometimes I get set in my ways. Every person does. But if it's working, and we're having our largest youth, then why not keep going with it? Yeah. But I'm always an open book. Like, if you got something, we want to change something, let's just do it. So that's just one of like being president isn't that hard. It's just more or less just coordinating information, sending out information, and planning certain events. And like I said, I got 4 events that I really have to plan between spring and service training. Our annual fundraiser, which is at the Oaks Golf Course in Cottage Grove. So if you want to donate to that, just look up on the website, because that's our major fundraiser for the year. It's just a golf outing. We do hole sponsors and raffle prizes. So we accept anything big or small, obviously, because I don't think anything's too small to raffle off. I'll package it with something else. But yeah, that's how we get our majority of our funds. And then we go to National Police Week, and then we got our August training, which is basically where a lot of our training fund goes. The whole point of is to minimize the cost for motor officers. So if you're a member, all of this training's free, and a lot of the meals are included. So we'll take donations in food, we'll take donations for lunch or breakfast, we take that. But yeah, we just want to make sure that everybody's getting the motorcycle training they need as far as motor officers go. And I couldn't do it without the support group we have, or we have a board of directors, and without all their help and organization, it would just happen. So, as you know, things just don't come together on their own. It takes all. You're already planning your ride too, it sounds like, for 2026. So yeah, that's how we actually came in touch. Had some questions regarding his movement from here to Walworth. So that's how we kind of met. I work for the Sheriff's Department, like I said, doing county road use permits, and he had some questions about how he can get motors from Madison Harley Davidson here all the way down to Walworth. So that's kind of, if you were wondering, that's how we know each other from.
Oh yeah. So touching a little bit on that subject, and so 5 different Harley Davidsons, 5 different rides.
You taking that's a big bite. That's a big bite, buddy. Like I said, it's one to move 30 motorcycles from one, but you're going to be moving from 5 different. That's a feat, and I'm excited to be part of it. And I'm excited to see it, and hopefully we can help you out best we can here at the Sheriff's Department and Wisconsin State Patrol and stuff. So hopefully we can get it done for you.
I have a really great idea, and I'll talk to you about this now. And actually, it was an idea that was bounced off the Rock County Sheriff, Dave McKillen, or I think his name is. He tells me they've been working on some like escorting small groups in different waves, waves of motorcycles. Sure. And I got the idea. I'm like, okay, all right, well, if this turns out to be a nice day, crazy day, I think probably maneuvering 100 motorcycles every like 30 minutes or 30 seconds to like a minute or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the specifics of how I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
But like those would I would have all the intersections in Rock County like blocked off. And then I'll get it approved by him, or however I need to get approved. Sure. And then at the end of the ride in like Evansville, we'll meet right up at the like in a big parking lot. I got to figure out where the parking lot's gonna be. But that parking lot, I'm gonna get with Rock to Stop 22 and their partnership with Casey's, and I'm gonna see if they can bring out a big fuel tanker out to that location. And fill the bikes up as they come in, and then wait for all those waves to come into there, and then go as a group out to Albany.
Wow. Well, it sounds like quite the feat, man. Like I said, and good luck to you.
Yeah.
It really depends on how many motors you have, and like you said, weather's always going to be contingent on who comes out to ride that day. So, but yeah, safety first and foremost, and keeping the group together as tight as possible. But it's like herding cats, though. Sometimes I refer to like motorcycle riders. You know, it's just like you can keep them together, and they get distracted, and then keeping them on task is going to be your biggest problem sometimes. So.
Oh yeah, and like, I mean, that's the biggest thing is like having like if you see some of the plans that I always come out with, like you'll see it like once I start getting into it. Like my detail is like to the point of what times hitting each time.
Keeping it on track is always the hard thing. Keep things moving.
And like I kind of like when I'm doing the ride, I like say like, okay, I gotta be here at this point, because like Milwaukee, I have to stop at a gas station before we get to. It's gonna be like the bring off of it, like just to see where we're at.
No.
So right out towards the ride when the whole ride gets there and start merging. I got a big curveball thrown at me, and I think I told you this. So Illinois State, I have to merge all those at one Harley and then move it up to the border.
Just for the help that you're going to get in Illinois and then cross,
Yeah, and I already did all that.
Crossing state lines is always tough. So.
Oh yeah, and that's where the Wisconsin State Police will come in.
But don't feel bad. Obama came up and they brought him to the border too, and then we had to go down and pick him up because so it's not just motorcycle rides. It's even the former president had to get dropped off at the state border, and then new police had to pick him up.
Yeah, there is no way I'll probably, because I thought about thinking like if we could utilize Illinois and as well as to help out with it, but other than that, if that president's not getting through, I'm not probably getting through.
Probably no. Crossing state lines is a jurisdictional legal thing, I would guess, in most cases, at least for cops. So.
It's so much jurisdiction, and as well as like politics and stuff like that with it.
But you might be surprised. There might be a weigh scale down there or something. You can just have them come up to the weigh scale on the Wisconsin side, and then we can pick you up. Or State Patrol can pick you up or something too.
Yeah, something like that. I think we might just keep the ride moving. So I think the point is like, so Six Corners Road out in Walworth. So we'll just, it's a side road. So like I could just park everybody up on the side. Nice. And then push them out as we go from there. So,
like I said, it's always a work in progress, these things. So, best of luck to you.
This is one of, and it's crazy with my process and how I do things and stuff like that. I attain this to what I've done in my life. Like I've completed all years of calculus with straight A's, and like my mind with process is just beyond me, and like awesome. I have a very like, it's just point to point to point. Like that's what calculus was. It's crazy. It broke me beyond my person, and like I did so much. Like it was great. I'll tell you a little bit. I think you heard about the story, but so calculus was actually so I was going through a really, really hard time. Like back in November 2017 and 2019, and so from the relationship trauma I was going through, my drug was school.
Well, it could be worse.
And oh yeah, and that was my way of like releasing myself, and like I would just do like calculus problems over and over and over, and I don't know, like it's just stuck to me, and it's like it breaks your mind. Like you're like, whoa, like, and you think about it later in your life, like how the hell did I do that? What the hell?
No, exactly. And well, it gives you a solution to. It's a problem, and you find the solution for it. That's always beneficial, And a lot of solutions you can't, or a lot of problems you can't find solutions to. Even in law enforcement, we try to fix everything we can, but in the end.
You gotta be able to. And like one of the biggest things, like I talk about in my book, which I'm actually working on my book now, and I've opened up that avenue, and I talk about this process versus emotional standpoint that we have, and zero is like processed emotion, and that is the middle of life. You got process going out to positive infinity, and then you got emotion going out to negative infinity. And you're always on this route of life that you're just trying to figure out in your life. Like, okay, I was so far processed in my mind when I was going through my relationship stuff, and then I didn't have any access to my emotional side because I didn't understand it. But when you break, it's like,
it's emotional
wow,
roller coaster,
like,
man. I can't even imagine,
and
so.
you start healing, which that healing phase is coming back to zero. How can you get back to zero in life? How can you get back to processed emotion in life? And I just live by that, man.
That's awesome.
And
going through that and learning is a big deal, man. I can't even imagine. So.
yeah, I own annual suicide awareness and prevention rides as well as Project I'm a Survivor. And I mean, back in 2020, I had a friend who lost his silent battle, and that kind of drove me to start doing these rides. And
no, and yeah, and I can't imagine, the traumas that most people go through. But even in law enforcement, we lose. In the line of duty, like National Police Week, it's a thing. Like we read all their names, during the ceremony, and then even the motor officers we read. But we lose more police to suicide than we do in the line of duty by like times 4. It's just, I can't imagine that there's, everybody thinks cops are tough and that they have this mental health that they can see everything and do everything, and really they can't. And they're the ones that aren't asking for help either. Like I think,
yes.
like one of your questions was, is it okay to
not be okay.
Yeah, not be okay, and that is a thing in our line of work. But I don't want to be that guy either. So I'm gonna, like, even if I don't think I need help, I'm still gonna make a call. Like, I've been through some big calls and stuff, and it does happen. But I touch base with people that I know, and they're other cops or they're chaplains or in law enforcement, so they understand. They've been there, they've done it. So it's just finding the right person to talk to. And I can't imagine, like, getting to where you are now and finding that zero, like you said, is pretty cool. So
talking about that, like my Never Forget the Fallen ride back in 2021, like, just to tell you a little bit about what it was about. And like, I 40 sponsors, a month and a half of networking, for that ride. And 40 sponsors, so many people involved, and like it was 140 motorcycles and like 20, 30 Jeeps. It was like feeling the exhilaration from that, and not only it was crazy because like this, I'm gonna go back to my process state of mind. Is I was breaking my mind beyond doubt with doing all this stuff, talking about this, and when you talk about it so much, and you come out about it.
Well, I'm just game days approaching, and you want it to go right, and all the planning and stuff. You just and then you succeed, and then.
But here's the but. That was triggering me, actually.
Oh, okay. Got it.
At 5 days after the ride, I broke.
Oh no.
I came out 2 years later, November of 2019. I aborted.
Crazy.
I aborted, man, and I'm okay talking about that because like it's a part of my story. It's a part of what I do and why I do what I do and why I have so much energy and give so much energy. And you'll see as I go, like I give a lot of energy, and like I could tell you, like, just talking about this, like this whole week, like last week, like I was at I had one podcast, and as well as the day before, or the before that, like I was talking about my story, talking. It comes back on you. It just like this week was. I don't know if it was off for you, but I hit pretty low on Wednesday. I hit pretty low, and I went through my
talking about conjures up thoughts and feelings and emotions.
It never leaves you. It never leaves you. Anybody in your life that you see that goes through that, it never leaves them. Yeah. And I mean, after I came out, like I started breaking. I had to call my sergeant. I was in the military, National Guard, served 6.5 years, and
but you're here today, and you're getting after it, and you got big plans. It sounds like you got something to shoot for in the future, which is awesome.
It's my motivation, man, and like with these things, it takes so much energy.
It does.
It takes so much energy to. Especially people who have had more in their life, more of trauma than I've ever had. I mean, I had relationship trauma. This is really, really bad. It was, and if maybe after this, if I could share my book with you, I'd love to. But it's still in. It's sad that relationship trauma is the biggest thing in our soldiers, and then as well as anybody in the police force or anything like that. It takes a toll, and when
Eventually it does, yeah. It all adds up. It just keeps compounding on layers until either, yeah, like you said, you either break or you come up with a plan to take those layers back down and, like you said, get back to your zero and heal and figure it out and move on. But
that was the biggest thing for me. Like after that day, I started healing. I started tapping into my emotional side. I started tapping into things that I just never knew I could tap into, and like it's like I how I put it in my book, like you got this hole in your life, you develop this hole, and beneath that hole is a foundation of diamonds. You got all the things that you have created in your life. Well, when you start throwing dirt in that hole, you come to boulders or rocks of emotion, and that just stop that from seeing that hole. And then you pile on dirt on top of that, which is your coping mechanism, stuff like that, and you just keep going. After every big boulder of emotion in your life, you develop a diamond. You develop something that you've accomplished in your life.
There's takeaways to everything. Yeah.
It's a part of digging that hole up. It's a part of digging all those, and it doesn't matter how big that hole is. Because I reread my book this Friday, and because it brings up so much trauma because it's my destructive relationship, and one of the things I seen though was like, take a pickaxe to all those boulders. Take it, you might have to grit and grind and stuff like that and get it all out, and it takes time. It takes a lot of
big
time.
rocks into small rocks, and big emotions into smaller emotions that you can manage and control are huge, especially when you're trying to heal. So
yeah. And it's hard sometimes, and like you're gonna go through it so many times. I always say the grief process is a revolving door.
Yes. You
revolve around it so many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't experience loss up until I was probably 25. I lost a good high school friend of mine, but I had all four of my grandparents up until I was over 30, and they lived in their 80s. So like loss for me was not a thing that I had to deal with. I think one of your questions to me was like, how do I deal with that now? And I'm still learning, obviously even at 41, I'm still learning to deal with loss, and I'm going to be dealing with it more in the future because my parents are getting older.
Same here.
And stuff like that. But I was very fortunate to have, like I said, all four of my grandparents up until and I got to meet their great grandkids, and stuff like that. So that's huge, to me, and it's huge to them that they know who we're talking about. A lot of people never even meet them, where they're so young when they pass away that loss and grief doesn't really affect them, but they're going to be affected just because of they know them, and so that's something that we have to deal with, and we deal with loss all the time in law enforcement, and
it hits you.
It hits you. It has to. I mean, I don't know a cop that it doesn't. So, but other than that, it's crazy that stuff that we have to deal with, and how. I think one of your questions to me was like, I have a degree in psychology, and not that I'm. It's a funny story there too, by the way.
Tell me about psychology. Tell me about that.
So I went to college. I wanted to go. CSI was big back in my day,
Okay.
So I went for forensic science.
Okay.
I got to college though in my second year, and I was like, I can't do chemistry to save my tail. Like I'm terrible at it. Like I'm gonna fail. Like if I can't do chemistry, I can't do forensic science. And then I had to switch. And psychology, so I switched to criminal justice actually. But then I'm such a planner, like you are, that I was like, well, all these classes overlap. Why not just get both of them? So I added 3 classes outside the normal workload, and I got 2 degrees. I got the psychology came because all the classes basically overlap just by planning. Like it counted for criminal justice, but it counted for psychology too. So I just needed like 3 extra classes outside the regular workload, and I got it. Like one I stayed, a couple credits here and there just during the summer, and then boom, I got it. And so that's how I got a degree in psychology. I really didn't. I just fell into it because it was something that just by planning it just worked out that way. So. But yeah, psychology did teach me that you can have one event that affects multiple people differently. Like some people handle it well, some people don't. But what's the difference between them? And recognizing that difference and recognizing so every person is an individual and they're going to respond differently has helped me in law enforcement too. Like we call it scene size up. You can walk into a place and figure out who's going to be the problem, who's going to be your negative person, who's going to be possibly a threat, but just by looking at them, and that's understanding people and knowing that they can change. Yeah, they can go like talking about your spectrum, your scale of emotion. Like they can be here at 0 fine, and then within a trigger, something triggers them, and then they're on one end or the opposite, and you may have a problem, you may not.
It's a bouncing
it's-
factor.
yes,
like it
and
just bounces all over the place.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen it just go 0 to hero, I call it, or 0 to a problem, just like that, and it's just crazy. That's that's psychology to me. Like I got a degree in it, but for me, it's all people in the real world doing real things, understanding real problems, and coming up with a solution, or not handling it well. That's why law enforcement a lot of times, unfortunately, gets called because a problem isn't being handled well. And that's why we're there to hopefully bring a solution to the problem.
It's a definitely interesting concept. I think I could, if I sat down, I could probably write a whole book about process versus emotion. Chaos versus intelligence.
Yes. No, I agree. It's insane. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I probably wouldn't be a cop today if I wasn't a motor officer cop. I kind of fell into that too. Like I said, my buddy just said, "Hey, let's go get a motorcycle license." Never even thought of it. Never even thought about riding a motorcycle, much as buying one. And then I convinced my wife that I needed to buy a Harley because I ride on a Harley at work.
So you need a Harley.
So I had to trade in my VTX for a Harley because I didn't want to switch controls and everything. And I was riding the work Harley so much that I sold my personal Harley, so I'm back to my work Harley. But yeah, it's really awesome. We're getting a brand new 2024. We're switching to the Road Glide. So the Police Harley Davidson Fleet Sales just came out with a Road Glide edition for police motorcycle use, and they tweaked it a little bit from the Ultra. Hopefully, with fixed fairings, it's gonna be a little safer for us, at least for county use. It's probably not made for everybody, just because it is a bigger front fairing. But out in the county where we're tracing down speeders and whatnot, we're going 0 to 80, and that fixed fairing is going to be a lot better for us. From the fairing back, the motorcycle is pretty much the same as the Ultra, but so I think we'll be maybe the first in the state that deploys those motorcycles. So I'm pretty excited about that my team gets to be part of that, because no one else in the state I think has them yet. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. I'm really thinking about. I don't know what I'm gonna get into next, but just waiting on certain circumstances and getting stuff done. But I'll definitely be. It probably won't be something new. It'll probably be something older, probably around $10,000 range or something like that, exactly. For sure. And there's this blue one that I'm looking at. There's so nice, big fat tire in the back, and it might be something, I don't know. But then again, I want maybe something touring, and I want to go on the road, But I mean, it's all over the place. It's you never know what you want.
Yeah, my wife doesn't really ride, so that's why I got rid of Harley too, because I had kids, and then go to the grocery store, I could take the motorcycle, but it's I got the kids, so then you jump in the car anyhow, So so I kind of missed the touring. I didn't go on too many rides. I've been up north to Michigan a couple times, and Tomahawk once on my VTX with my in-law and my dad, so that was cool. That was a good experience going up to the Tomahawk rally. That was back in 2012 probably. But just doing that trip was something I never got to go to Sturgis, even with all my motorcycling.
Haven't been to Sturgis?
Haven't been to Sturgis. But a lot of people haven't been to National Police Week either in Washington, D.C., and I've been there 10 times. So it's just, pick and choose your battles.
I'll have to go to National Police Week. Yeah. Maybe they'll let me ride one of the
jump on in.
Try it out.
Yeah, try it out. But
so tell me, what would you say your biggest passion in life is? What would you feel it is?
Well, I don't know. I got my family, which is nice, and doing that. And they're getting older, so we'll be able to do more stuff, do more trips.
Do a lot more traveling.
Yeah, a lot more traveling. Wife wants to do a lot of that. But just hanging out with friends and family. We kind of committed to our house, as our weekend retreat, just due to my schedule and the wife's schedule and stuff. So we have a pool now and stuff. So I like hosting. I like people coming to my house and hanging out. As far as passion goes, though, I mean the BMOA is a big part of that. Like I said, I probably wouldn't be a cop if I wasn't a motor officer, and if I wasn't a motor officer, I wouldn't be in the BMOA. So a lot of my passion goes into planning all those events, making sure they go off without a hitch, making sure we have funds in the future to continue our training and continue to support the line of duty deaths throughout the country and stuff like that as well. So that's pretty much my passion now, and I'm getting. Once you found out too, once you host an event or you have an event, the event gets easier the next time you host it because it's already in your head. It's already
you're
the ones from scratch.
We're going on seventh annual next year.
Exactly.
So, we won't have the one this year, sadly. Just amount of stuff that I have to do, and especially my podcast coming out, and I got so much video to edit. I got so many things to do, and it's just
even at National Police Week, we used to or this will be the first year we don't host a Wisconsin Survivor cookout. So we would serve up to 150 to 200 people out of our motorcycle trailer. We'd cook burgers and brats for all the survivors that flew in to give them a little taste of home. It just got too big. So it's one of those things. It's just we couldn't keep up anymore, and I can't. Even with the team that I have of 30 people out there helping me, it's just in the rain and it's all weather dependent, just like your motorcycle rides are. So this would be the first year we don't have it, and just the logistics of National Police Week, they changed hotels on us too. So like the survivors are in one hotel and we're in a different hotel. So the conflict of getting rides and getting people transferred, so unfortunately we're not going to do that this year. But that was a thing we've always done too, is we'd always cook out in conjunction with Wisconsin cops and get those survivors a little taste of home, which was really cool. But like you said, things evolve, things change. We'll come up with a different plan and move on from there. So
throwing curveballs.
Yeah.
That's always fun in event coordinating. You get so many curveballs, but you can be locked down. You can be.
Yes.
So like always like expecting those,
Yes.
and you only adjust as you go. And like I know with this ride, like there's gonna have to be a lot of adjustment, and it's gonna take a lot of. It's going to be a flow ride. But if I could tell you the best way to really, really touch like everybody and stuff like that to make sure to have a comfortable ride is just repeating it, telling people like this ride is going to be safe. We got everything locked down, everything like, and then one of the biggest things I do every single ride before the ride, national anthem goes on. Nice. And then we're
out the
rev them up.
Rev them up. Exactly. Yep. Fire them up.
And that's what I'll probably have it this year. I think I will. But one year, We Are in This Together ride, we had a bagpiper play the national anthem. That was like awesome. You want to talk about some deep deep feeling.
Bagpipes change everything. I try to bring bagpipes in even to that cookout. We'd bring a group in and they'd play some tunes, and it's just so emotional what a bagpipe can do compared to any other instrument.
You got me in my emotions, that's for sure. That was when We Are in This Together, right? That's when we had Illinois State Police help us out, and yeah, they lock down. They don't play around. No. Yeah, they go up about 120 up the side of the thing. So they maneuver it all in one. So they don't do the one thing with you guys or how you guys do it. And, I don't know how it's going to be. It's going to be very interesting that day. So I'm
excited to see it. We'll see how it goes for you. And hopefully, like I said, planning is awesome. So
it's always it takes so much motivation. It takes so much effort. Like you got to talk to like everybody. Like and like I one of the things is like I'm the only one planning with the cops because like that's kind of like the team. That's who gets the stuff going, and then whatever I have to push out into the community, whoever's helping out or volunteers and stuff like that, that's what I have to do. One of the big things like Illinois State Police, like if you're gonna have blockers or anything like that, they have to have no passenger, and I don't know if you guys do that same thing, most likely.
Yeah, we used to have road guards up here. I don't know if state law allows it anymore, unfortunately. Some things have changed. I think the only people in Wisconsin that can affect traffic are certified law enforcement officers, which is why we kind of got away from it 10 years ago, is using road guards and stuff, because we didn't want people getting hit they got to be invested in all that stuff. So that changed. But like I said, law enforcement, we try to help out as many people as we can, making people move throughout the county safely. And we do push-style escorts. Like I said, we do static post blocking. Just got to make sure it gets done, because when 100 motorcycles come through, you don't want to be going there to take a crash. That's for sure. You want to make sure everybody gets through safely. So
what we might have to figure out is 1,000, I think, because you just gotta. I think I would rather have a comfortable perception of that, because you never know with the year and a half of planning, and if that's a really nice day, and
you could easily get that,
easily get that at all four.
It depends on the day, like I said.
I don't know what the state's gonna say about having 4,000 motorcycles come through. You never know.
You never know, but they can't really prevent it either. So that's the point of open roadways, right? Figure it out and come together. We'll get it done, like we always do. So. Yeah,
and I feel like working with that one concept with maneuvering through Rock County, because the Madison ride's like really really easy. Like,
I think
your guys' ride, I'm gonna make it very easily. Just three highways, simple as be. You don't have to block off anything. It's just smooth riding all the way too. So all the way to Whiskey Ranch, and then I don't know. Do you have jurisdiction at Whiskey Ranch or?
No, I do not.
No, I do not. So I have to. So I probably have to figure out the Rock County
side of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I will have someone pick that because they're going to be out. They're going to be at Whiskey Ranch for about an hour before the ride starts actually pushing through, and so they can actually fill up at that gas station right there, and then
they'll have time. They'll have time to do that. Get everybody in. Get everybody out.
Yeah. Get everybody topped off, and that kind of like I thought about. You have a police there, my concept is whoever I'm working with, there's going to be 2 or 3 people in that group that will be assigned to that group, and whoever's I'm going to have working with that, and I'm going to need a lot of help because I'm not going to be there.
Yeah,
I will be in Milwaukee.
Bringing the next group down.
Yeah, I will be in Milwaukee managing that ride, and with Mark, if you know Mark. Oh, I don't think. Do you know Mark over there?
Mark McLean?
I think so. The vet coordinator?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll be working with him very, very closely.
Yes, and I work with him. If it is the same Mark McLean at Hosa Holly there, that he's the one that I work with to get the semi going for National Police Week too. So yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Small world.
Oh yeah. And what is so talk to me a little bit about going through college and stuff like that. What was your experience with the long hours, and tell me a little bit about that.
College was college, I guess. I mean, would I do it again? Maybe, maybe not. I think one of your questions was, what are my regrets? Like, what would I do back in life? I probably wouldn't be going to college. I'd probably be going to the military. I think I would have succeeded there. I had a buddy that's still in the military. He's got over 20 years in the Marine Corps. Several tours to both Afghanistan and Iraq throughout the wars there and stuff. And he's still doing it and still loving it. And he's going to be retiring pretty soon, I think, and moving back to hometown. So that's cool. I get to see him a lot more at least. But yeah, college was college. I did join a fraternity, so I got friends right away. I came from a small school up in the northern part of the state, so like I think I had 8 people that I graduated with in 8th grade, and then I graduated with only 70 from high school. So like just getting it.
Very small town?
Yeah, small town. So just seeing the real world actually. Like I grew up on a small farm too, so I was a farm kid. Like inner city, never even experienced any of that. So it was super eye opening, at least as far as all that goes. So I got to make friends real fast joining a frat, which is good. I'm still in touch with a lot of those guys too, even to this day, here or there. I don't do social media unfortunately, just because I am a cop and I don't need any of that headache. But so I miss out on stuff. So but the wife has it, so that works.
I got 5 different accounts right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it gets crazy.
Yeah. But as far as college goes, don't tell the wife, but C's get degrees in the end, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it depends on what you want to do.
You're not wrong.
So we're trying to push the kids to do good and stuff like that. But in the end, as long as they're getting what they need to get in the end out of there, depends on what you want to do. If you want to go into advanced school, then yes, you got to have the grades. But in the end, if you want a job, biggest thing that I realized coming out of college is that you don't graduate college without a job. Like you need to have a job, because I had a little bit of an interim where I didn't have a job, where I moved here because the wife had a job, and that was tough. I think I paid my first month's rent with my change jar that I had saved up over the years, because that's all the money I had, so yeah, college is college. Like I said, it serves a purpose. Is it getting expensive these days? You betcha. I can't
I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
The Army paid for it.
Yeah, so, but yeah, other than that, like I said, just regretting not joining the military. I had grandparents, both my grandpas were in the military. One was in the Navy, one was in the Army. Both served in Korea. I got their flags. So it's a reminder that, it's one thing I didn't do. Like law enforcement was about as close as I got. And even there, I just kind of fell into law enforcement. Like I said, I needed a job here because the wife was working here already. And I fell into this, started working for the DOC at first. And then I moved into the Sheriff's Department. I've been here 18 years now, coming up here in April. So still doing it. And like I said, I wouldn't be a cop. Probably wouldn't be a cop if I wasn't a motor cop. So
how do you feel about it? 18 years.
It goes fast, man. I can't even remember where I was 18 years. I can't remember the early jobs I did here, even at the Sheriff's Department, working in the jail, and was a contract deputy for a while in two small villages, which was really built my career and got me experience. So that was awesome. And then that's how me and you met. Now I work the Beltline. We call it the Beltline here in Madison, but it's our big highway that goes around Madison. But I'm usually just out there helping people with gas and changing tires and stuff and clearing crashes. But just this past Monday, I'm taking a new position, so I'll be starting a traffic team position, which is just like a state trooper almost for the Dane County Sheriff's Office, where we just do traffic enforcement. So I'll be moving to the more enforcement side of things now. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty happy I got that. So I got to use the motorcycle a lot more. So
I got a really good question for you, and you don't have to answer if it's okay. But what would you say your darkest moment in your life was?
Ooh,
It's a deep one.
it is a deep one. Like I said, the loss of my good friend coming out of college. He got hit by a car. I was just a fresh cop at the time. I want to know the answers and details, and he was good. Like I said, I had never experienced that kind of loss. So that's probably one of the deeper ones. Grief and loss is always tough. I don't know. That's probably one of the worst ones I've had. Like I said, it's probably. But then again, I've been fortunate enough that losses for me was pretty mitigated. I had my grandparents forever, so the next one's going to be tougher, I think. But I've had some weird, work calls and stuff that you just deal with one way or another. I've had guns pulled on me. I fought for a gun with a person. It's tough. Not tough as some other people's problems. Don't get me wrong. But working is work, and get back at it, and hopefully you can help. Hope you can help more people than end up getting hurt in the end. So.
Oh yeah, and if I could say just those things in life, like it always comes back around. Yeah. It always does, and it never leaves you in life. And I'm like 5 years later, like. Yeah. It never leaves you. It never leaves you.
Well, it's funny because I told you my friend died. He got hit. Well, it was foggy, and that's why he got hit. So any day that's foggy, I can't not think about it.
Yeah, I get. It's like crazy. Like some days you're just like completely off, completely complacent. You're trying to figure out what it is, and you actually like. When I was in my book, like I was talking about certain dates because I could visually memorize everything that went along with that relationship. Like you can just pinpoint every single thing why you're off. Yeah. And what I do, and biggest thing is like with any like traumas or anything in your life, like I just like try to go to that place and be like, you gotta fight through it. You gotta fight through it. Like you gotta face it. You gotta face it at some point and come to a sort of acceptance.
Yeah, pushing it off isn't gonna help.
Pushing it off is not gonna help because like it throws you down a spiral hole. And like I mean it's been difficult for me lately and stuff like that because like I see like because like back in 2023 so a little bit about 2021 when the ride when I broke 5 days later got in the hospital 5 days mental hospital. They put a false diagnosis on my outgoing records that I didn't find out 2 weeks later. ADD, attention deficit disorder. You know what that is, right? They prescribed lithium carbonate for me.
I think I just heard of that. We saw that in your other podcast.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
that's not good.
Like that started my outgoing of the military. It fucking hurt. Like if I could tell you, like I still struggle with it today because like it was my passion, man. It was what I love to do. My grandpa passed away one day after his 80th birthday of cancer. He is the reason I'm here today. He's the reason why I'm fighting. He's the reason why I have a purpose. Why I do what I do and what I love to do. And like. That started my exiting of the military because bipolar disorder is kind of like a little a really red flag for the military. Sure. And that kind of like, but come to find out 2022, beginning of 2022 is a false diagnosis. They got it off my record.
Well, that's good at least.
But then again, I already exited the military. And if I could tell you the emotion of exiting, I could relive it every single day. But if I could tell you like, just from especially experiencing that trauma, the aborted attempt I had in 2020 or 2019, like those, I got off my medication back in December of 2023 because I wanted to have a normalcy of trying to be myself and understand and try to fight through all this pain, all this stuff. Like I look back at it now, like right now where I'm at in my life, I feel it every single day. Like I'm just like sitting here like I'm a little bit in reality, but I'm not in reality. But like I know what I'm talking about. But like I connect and I try to. I don't know. It's gonna be a hard endeavor because I haven't faced it, and I haven't faced it with like the amount of energy I've been doing now. Opening up a podcast. Like like this year I was like kind of like I need to stop and go after what I love to do.
Yeah.
I need to do what I need to
You
love.
only get one life, man.
You only get one life.
You gotta push forward.
And I did it this year, and like I feel like now I'm actually like pushing through this pain, pushing through all this stuff, you know, like and like I mean I was in a breakup, like probably like I successfully did not go back and kept on going back and hurting myself like the other one when it came up to that point. And I mean I'm proud of myself. I'm stronger, but going through it, it's like
growing pains, man.
you know,
growing
like,
pains. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
man.
what the fuck, man. Like and it's sad because they knew my story. What can you do? You know, like, and it destroys my character, destroys the person I am. Like come on. But I mean, it's life.
It's
I mean,
life. You're in a good spot now. We're working towards.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Working on it.
That's that is life, and it takes. Yeah.
It's I know I'm gonna go through a lot of tribulations.
Oh,
And
for
I know I'm gonna have a lot of criticism. I'm gonna have a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, you can't do this." No, I'm gonna say like, "No, yes, I can do
And you
this."
can always try, exactly.
Always try.
Yeah.
Always try.
It's not gonna hurt.
Put max amount of effort into it, and
That's one thing I wish I could teach my kids. Like, I hope you can't teach it, but you can't teach ambition and drive, and you can't teach hard work, and you can't teach commitment. But you can run circles around anybody if you just try harder than the rest. In my opinion, at least, trying is the beginning. But I think one of your questions to me was like, what do I live by in my life? It's like,
what's your purpose?
It's a jokingly, but it's like establish dominance early. Get the work. If the work can be done today, get it done today. Like
Exactly.
And there's no point in doing the work if it's not going to be done correctly, or at least to full not effect, but full trying to do your best. Like anybody can just not do something, but it's harder to do it right. And pushing through that is what I would wish I could teach my kids, because even if they don't succeed or do succeed, but as long as they're out there with the will and the effort to do it, then they should be fine. They should be able to take care of themselves.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the biggest things. Like you only can guide them through life. You only can give them a guide that shows like, you're accomplishing so many things. Them seeing that
would hopefully be enough
for them.
We hope. We always hope. Yeah.
And like it's the biggest thing of making those connections, because like my grandpa made a connection with me, and we fished all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We did all this stuff together. I didn't even realize he was gonna be there the 2 moments I broke in my life, and I'm like, wow, like I live up to this every single day because of this, because of what this is. Mm-hmm. Like I said, if that wasn't there that night, I probably wouldn't be here.
It's a great reminder. Exactly.
I probably wouldn't be. Yeah. But I'm here because of it, and that's what I live up to. Yeah. And
that's all you can
do. Every time I get in those down moments, I'm just like, you know what? I got a very, very strong inner circle of people who care about me, and I know this now because I got purpose, I got reasoning, I got a lot of people who look up to me and are like, excuse me. I got a lot of people who look up to me, and I just couldn't get to that point ever again in my life because.
Well, support system's important.
Yeah.
You don't want to let them down either. Now it's not about you anymore.
It's not about me anymore.
It's about your circle.
It's about that circle of people who care about what I do, and that's what I care about most. Is like, I see when I talk about this situation, talk about this with people, they're like, wow, you're so damn strong about coming out about it, and then that gets like other people's stories. Like last weekend, because I have the Lakeshore Harley Davidson, I did a interview with him, Nick Wiesman.
Sure.
And his one of his coworkers, she was like master in English and stuff like that, and like she's getting me back into doing my book, and she read it, and she's so touched because she lost her husband to suicide and stuff like that, and she was like, wow, this touches me, and I want to help you out with this and push you forward. And because I after 2022, when I got back into college, I got my degree in associates in science, and then I moved on to actually that ending and getting an associates. I completed that book. Nice. I ended that book as a destructive relationship. I ended it like I just closed it and just threw it away. Didn't touch it since she wanted to read it, and now I'm like, maybe I need to do it. Maybe I just need to go through the pain, get through, develop it, because it has a lot of motivational stuff in it. Like it would help people to understand and realize and get these different situations in life. Like, how do I go forward? How do I move forward? Because most people in these you versus you battles that you're about to do it, like it's about that you versus you battle. What in your life is the meaning behind of me getting out of that certain circumstance?
What pushed you to do what you did exactly?
It's the motivations. It's the the people in your life, the different memorization events and stuff like that. It's those things that just, sure, you're out. It takes so much. It's your numb side versus your regular side. And one of the things is like, I hope this ride, anybody in life, just one person maybe, and it probably has already, but one person gets that certain thing of like, okay, I got a purpose. I got a reason to be here. I know I have a purpose.
Benefit from the work you do, exactly. Keep pushing.
Exactly. And it warms my heart because like last weekend she was like, I hope you know that you motivated me to start doing my book again, or writing my book again. I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, wow. I'm like, and especially the episode 3 last week, like the Josh Harmon, like such a great character, ex army and like he and Marine as well, and he like he came out about his whole story. Like I was sitting there in awe, just like listening to his story, and like I was like, this is why I'm doing Your Story Matters podcast. This is why I'm talking to people and,
this is what you want,
and
exactly. And
seeing these different people and its successes and the low points in life and understanding those and understanding that everybody, no matter how high you are or how low you are, everybody goes through emotions. Everybody goes through trauma. Everybody goes through those people covered up in different ways. It always comes out in the end. It always does.
100% agree with you. That's crazy. But yeah, that's why it makes us all different, and how we overcome that is why your story matters.
Your story matters. So,
exactly.
What would you say some of the biggest parts in your story, like going through your life? What are the biggest impacts you would say?
Oh, obviously my family keeps me on track. I couldn't do half the stuff I do if I didn't have, my wife and stuff like that. And my parents, I still have them, which is awesome. They're supportive, Then every day, yes, as you say, the calls can pile up, the emotions can pile up, but hopefully, like you said earlier, if we can get one person that we can help and make their day better, then my day's better, Been to 2024 was tough. We had 2 active shooters in Dane County. I responded to both of them. So those are tough because you got kids in school. I have kids in school. People have kids in school. They don't want to see that. They don't want to deal with that. So those are tough. But we try to make sure that mitigate it best we can, and just like I said, helping one person one day at a time. Working the Bellline has taught me that I can't be in more places than one.
You wish you could break yourself into so many places.
Yeah, no matter how many crashes, no matter how many times people crash on the Bellline, I can only be at one crash at a time, or I can only go help one person. But most of the times I'm there to show up and help, and people like that. So that keeps me going.
Oh yeah. So I want to ask, like, what procedure for like Dane County, like Sheriff Department? What do you guys do, like, when you get like a call of someone, losing, going into that mentality and stuff like that? What is your guys' response?
Our response has really developed over the last years. We're even City of Madison and Dane County are both implementing not only we used to call them community deputies. We still have those, but those are the people that are in the community dealing with the long-term issues of people and businesses and stuff. But we also have mental health deputies now, specifically assigned to touch base with these people, make direct contact with them, so that they have a source. That's a real person. It's not a phone. They go to their house, they meet them, and then they go through their long-term plan with them. If they were in crisis, they get them out of crisis. They get the help they need, whether it's through hospitalization or through support system of the family. And then they track them. They follow up with them. It's not just one and done. A lot of times cops show up, arrest somebody and leave, and that's not what this whole idea is now. Like, we're seeing a lot more mental health issues coming across the board, coming through the dispatch center. even the dispatch center understands what's going on. Their protocols have changed. Like they're asking better questions. Or that we have, are you a veteran? Or what hospital do you go to? Are there firearms in the house? Like just from point A to the end has gotten better over the last 10 years, I would say, for sure.
I think
when I first started my career, we didn't really have a whole lot of training, but now we're doing, training and communication, time and distance is in your favor as a cop. We don't have to rush into everything. Sometimes slow playing it is better, especially for these people that can maybe fix their own crisis and come out of it themselves versus us forcing them to come out of it, or forcing us to do something that we don't want to do and forcing them to do something they don't want to do.
Exactly. I think, and this is my observation of it, I think the best, most authentic thing you could ever do in any of those circumstances is the connection.
Yeah, exactly.
How can you connect with them? Yeah. And understand and understand that, like, I think a good mentality would be is like reason with them, like tell them like, hey, I've been through this, I've done this, I've been to that point. How much that means and triggers in their mind. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, when you say suicide, you think that's triggering to someone. No, it's not triggering to them. It is the amount of what's piling on their mind that is really, really getting them to that point. But the biggest thing is understanding like what their viewpoint is, what is pushing them to that point. I think the biggest thing is finding out about their story. What's the reasoning behind their story?
No, that's sitting down and getting to the core. Yeah. The core problem. It's not that it could be a relationship issue, but it probably goes deeper than that. When did this start? It didn't start today. It started months ago. Or what was your trigger then, not now? You're just having today's a bad day, but what started the whole system of having bad days? And getting to that.
Exactly, and making that connection.
Yeah, and law enforcement. I'm doing a presentation to the Boy Scouts, I think, back in the day when I was a contract deputy, and they asked me, well, what do you got to do to be a good cop? And I said, really, it's pretty easy. You got to be a good talker and you got to be a good listener. If you can do those two things, you'll succeed as being a cop.
Empathy.
A little bit of empathy. Exactly.
Yes, that too. That's a major thing, and I don't know if that ever helps out with any of your.
It does. They're training
and
now.
Any training and stuff like that. I would say the biggest thing is connecting to your story.
Yeah. Yep.
If you get that connection going, you'll get anybody to snap out of that mindset, and it takes a lot. And especially with our veterans and stuff like that, it takes a lot. Like, especially for them coming out about it, like it's not easy.
No, but we have veterans in law enforcement too, and we're using them to our advantage now too. Like I said, especially over the last years, we've seen really improvement in law enforcement as far as the mental health issues, using veterans on veterans to help
exactly
make that connection.
Connection.
That's a major connection. And just like you said. Our experiences versus their experience and meeting in the middle is where it's at. So
yeah, and like they're usually they're in a numb state of mind in that moment of time. Like they're numb. They don't know what's going on. They don't have control of anything that they're going to do. It's that one little click of hearing something or something of connection that really breaks you out of that point.
And and you said even control, giving them a little back control. Hey, can I sit down? Yes, you can sit down. Hey, can we stand up, or can we walk over here? Can we go over there? And just giving them an idea that they are controlling some of the narrative, and not, especially when law enforcement's around. Usually when law enforcement's there, they like to control everything. So giving them just that little bit of benefit of, hey, can I sit in the back of the car, or can I sit in the front versus the back? Yeah, sure, no problem. You just got to meet people halfway. Treat them, human beings are human beings, and you got to treat them as such. Treat them like, fortunately, treat them like you want to be treated yourself, or treat your kids.
That's the biggest connection you can ever make with anybody in this life, and understanding that it takes those connections to really, really connect with these individuals, and man, I this is what I love to do, like, that would be pretty cool. Like, make a job to do that. That would be pretty cool. Making these connections with people, and that would be pretty cool sometime.
No, but we're the Sheriff's Department is employing not only mental health deputies, but we have mental health staff currently assigned to each of our precincts, or we're trying to get them assigned. They come and go, but I don't know where we're at for fully staffed or not. But we have actually mental health staff that help the deputies then too. So as far as going to these calls and riding with us and actually bringing professionals to the people that need it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's working out pretty well. Other than that, what else? What else you got?
Thinking.
Yeah, I think I've gone through the list. I think you gave me, and I think we're hitting a lot of them. So.
Oh yeah. I think we got pretty much all of it. I think,
like I said, I don't know if my story matters per se as far as everything goes compared to most people's, but like I said, I want to push the BMOA. I want to push helping us out if you can. Get on our Facebook, get on our webpage. One
I'd love to
last
come to
time.
that
It's
golf
free.
outing.
Yep, the golf outing you can register for and come out and play golf. The competition here is in August. It's the 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's right over here at Ho Chunk Gaming, right next door to the Harley Davidson shop. It's free to the public. You can come watch us do cone work and motorcycle competition stuff. So it's free to the public. Come on over. So yeah, that's I guess all I got.
So I always love to end these podcasts like this. So give me one piece of motivation or one piece of advice that you would give that is motivational to you and that would impact others. Any quote, anything that you can think of that you follow?
Yes, you want to watch it's a commencement speech from 2014. It's Admiral McRaven, I think. He's at Texas, and in there it does an amazing job about how the little things matter and how a little thing can change the world. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, or if you Googled it after I sent it to you, but I don't know how I came across that, but I've watched that once a year probably. I try to get my kid, I even played it for my kid the other day, just because I want them to make their bed, as stupid as it sounds.
Yep, we're on the same page.
Yeah. He never
make your bed in the morning.
Yeah, he never makes it, because even if you have a crappy day, you come back to a bed that's made, I think he says in there, and that at least you got something going for you.
I never do.
Yeah. I try to.
My life is so hectic, I don't even make my bed.
But I think, so motivational wise, little things matter. Little things matter, and little things can change the world too. So at least in your world. So.
Oh yeah, and we'll bring that to a conclusion. And so,
well, thank you again for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other again with your upcoming ride here in 2026.
Oh yeah, and this is episode 4 of Your Story Matters, where you can leave the bullshit at the door and be you. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, it's crazy. My uncle, his name is John. He was in the Rockford Police Department. So, hey.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.